Welcome back to another episode of Night Style Talks. I'm here with the founders of DoppelU, Anthony and Nenad. How are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
So, explain to the people that haven't heard of this amazing fashion app, DoppelU. What is it?
DoppelU is basically a fashion app that lets you decide what to wear for any occasion. The goal of the app is strictly to help people to figure out what they need to wear as fast as they need it, so they can go out and enjoy the rest of their day. It eliminates that part of your daily routine where you have to say, oh, what am I going to wear? Oh, I can't figure it out, and you spend hours trying to figure out what to wear. So we've eliminated that, and we try to simplify it for each individual.
Okay. What motivated you to create this very unique app?
Well, we were sitting around one day and he had a really good idea, and it was a bit different at the time. We were basing our inspiration from an online website where people would post pictures of themselves, women really, wearing whatever they chose, but more importantly they would give out their specifications, all their measurements, how tall they were, how much they weighed, what their measurements were. And then they would all post, and it was supposed to be like an empowering movement. This is who I am, I'm not a model, a very positive movement. So that was the point of it. We said, what's the problem with shopping online, right? You don't know if clothes fit you properly, you don't know how they feel, and because you're tall, it might look different on you than someone who's a bit shorter and a different body shape. So we decided to kind of go with that route. Well, if you find people who look like you, body-wise, not in your face, the clothing might fit you the same way. We kind of elaborated on that aspect, and this is where we are now.
Okay. So yeah, you take each individual person, and then it's unique to the app itself, pretty much.
Exactly. And that's where the name came from as well. So it's supposed to be like a doppelganger, but not a look-alike of a celebrity or something. Your best version for whatever event or whatever you're trying to do, whether go to class or an interview, go to the park, and people are just picking out the best outfits that fit you. That was the point.
Very interesting. Are there any other similar apps on the market like DoppelU?
Anthony?
There are a few that have tried to get into the space a little bit. There have been similar concepts before, but nothing with our pick feature. So our pick features really kind of elevated us out of that little bit of a sphere, because it kind of gives us a place where we can say, okay, you're not just voting on one picture trying to say, is this hot or not? Should I wear this, should I not? We have that ability, but now we've expanded it to the fact that you can post multiple pictures for different outfits. So if someone's trying to decide, for instance, a girl wants to go to prom and she needs to know, oh, what should I wear? And she's at the mall searching she found 4 different dresses. Well, now she can ask and get feedback on those, and maybe she finds 2 that are really good and she can't decide. So now she asks for all 4. People vote, and they give her, now she's deciding between 2, and she can go vote again and say, okay, I'm undecided between these 2, and now she gets better feedback, and then eventually she picked out 1.
Okay.
So it eliminates our process for it, and at the same time it really helps her because she's getting votes from all different kinds of people, different age groups, whether people who are going to prom now, people who've already been to prom, and then really fashionable people, and at the same time you kind of get a little bit of experience with knowing that, okay, whatever I'm going to wear out, people are really going to like. And that comes back to the whole body image that Nenad was talking about. It's that our goal is strictly to not just, when you're trying to figure out what to wear, you're trying to not necessarily get attention, but just you want to feel comfortable when you go out.
Yeah. And
so the goal is, so for an individual, when they know what to wear and people approve it, you get to go out and say, okay, I don't have to worry about getting bullied maybe about this. I'm going to have people who actually like this, and I'm going to feel comfortable about it. So that's one less word for me when I go out during the day.
That's awesome. I've been on that a few times, and it's really cool. You make your own username, and you have your own little profile, so you can vote, and then all the voting comes up on your profile, and it really showcases what you kind of like too as well.
Exactly.
So it's very neat. Do you all have a specific audience that you're targeting?
Well, I think that obviously we believe that girls are more inclined to use the app, simply because there's just the women's fashion industry is huge compared to the men's. But recently though, we have seen a lot of male individuals on the app, bloggers as well, and we've got a decent amount of them. Not the dominant, excuse me, they're not the majority, but men's fashion is definitely on the rise, big time. So we don't want to alienate them either, which is why we went with more of a unisex type name and theme to the app, as well as colors and all that. So the target audience is is girls, but also not just them, everybody else too. You know,
Okay.
so probably between like 15 and 35 years old.
So wide range.
Wide range. I mean, even more.
College kids
Anybody
and
really.
above.
Yeah, just anybody who has these phones now, which is everybody.
And it can go just like high schoolers too, with prom and
Exactly.
homecoming and all that stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
There's always an occasion.
Yeah.
It's hugely beneficial. Anyone who could find a benefit out of it for an occasion. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. It's
Yeah.
just it's simplicity in that aspect, and that it's just like he said. You know, you're just going out. You know, going to the beach. You know, you just
Yeah.
want to know what to wear then.
From the beach to
Yeah.
the club or black tie event,
Exactly.
the whole round.
Any
Okay.
event.
And apps are a huge craze these days. I mean, you see them left and right coming up. How does one create an app? I mean, what's the logistics behind it?
That's an hour-long conversation.
Go ahead.
We could talk for days about that. I mean, really, it comes down to, first of all, figuring out what you want. All right, you really have to break down features in an app. All right, and at the same time, which most people miss is that they don't bother to check the market for this concept. Right, a lot of people come with app ideas and then they think but then they find out something's been out for years.
It has to be relatable.
Exactly. They find out this concept's already been out for years, and then they say either they give up or they don't. But if you don't give up, then it's kind of like, okay, what am I going to do to make this better? There's always room for improvement in every concept.
Yeah.
You know, Google wasn't the first search engine. They just went and made it 100 times better. You know, Apple didn't make the first computer. You know, they just built a brand that just happened to make it much better. So the goal is to, all right, let's sit there and break down what do we need, and you go through a feature set. And at the beginning, it's really just, I mean, we went through prototype after prototype, just sketching things out. You start sketching, you say, all right, we don't need this is maybe too much. And then it's really just step-by-step execution. You go from there to the design stage, then you start exploring, you know, programming, you start exploring different opportunities. And then you also have to look at, all right, now we're starting to look at, we want to actually make a product, but we don't want too much. We just want to test the product. And most people, what they forget is that they really need to just test the idea.
Feedback. Yeah, people need feedback. That's the best way that I would go about doing this, and that's what we've done as well. You don't want to have 100 features, but nobody uses them. What's the point of that? If you look at all the popular apps now, Instagram, even Facebook's really expanded their user interface. Snapchat now. When that first started out, Snapchat was a picture sharing
That's
thing.
it.
Now they have Discover and Follow Me and
You can
do
bring
all that.
money. You can send money to people.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, that's a lot of features. So initially, just make it as simple as possible. And now we're starting to iterate our app as well. So really, it's still in the very early stages because you don't really know how people are going to respond, and they're going to waste all that time, money, effort making something no one wants. It's not the point. You have to really get feedback. That's the one piece of advice I can give everyone.
Okay. And what's the timeline look like? When did you guys start thinking and developing the app, and then when did it finally go on the market?
It was, we started talking about this in August of 2013, I want to say.
Wow, so recently, relatively.
Well, a year and a half ago or so.
Yeah.
It's at the time there was really nothing else out there quite like this that we found. We spent quite a bit of time looking, and Tinder was really popular then. They were coming out, and it was, you know, that's for different purposes obviously, but people were all, you know, they were willing to give opinions. So we figured that this was the next step, and then we decided to make some demos. And you have to figure out, okay, are we going to actually code this ourselves, or are we going to get some help? And then it gets into business strategy and how you want to approach it.
Did you guys code it yourself, or did you get someone to do that?
We got some help to do that because we realized that we could have done it, but it would have taken us quite a bit of time to get to the level that we wanted to be, and at that point the opportunity might have been missed. So we're doing all of the other things.
And then what happened was actually a smart idea on our part, just because we get to focus on marketing, which is the biggest part of an app nowadays.
Yes, it is.
It's the app game has really changed from what it was 5 years ago. You know, when Apple first launched the App Store, there was a bit of a window of opportunity for people to just, as every man for themselves, right? Now there's a lot of competition. It's a lot harder to get noticed in the App Store. There's a lot of different variables that affect your growth in the App Store. So our goal now is just marketing, getting it out there, because if you have competition, fashion for instance, I mean, it's just $1 billion industry.
Yeah.
So to even make a dent on it requires a massive amount of marketing that we have to put in. So it's just a lot of just run and gun really to just try and get it out there.
Because you might have the best app in the world, but if no one knows about it, it doesn't matter.
That's it.
Yeah, it's all about marketing.
Yep.
Marketing is a huge part of this. That's any business really, but with the apps, it's really, it's a dog-eat-dog environment. There's no, you can't protect yourself. For example, like let's say I make a new wristwatch or something and I made something unique about it, I can patent that, right?
Yeah.
With an app, no. if you have a good feature, and if I can program better than you, then you can go ahead and do that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a bit
dog eat world.
Dog eat, yeah, dog eat everything. It's really, yeah, it's really aggressive market. So if people are looking to get into apps, definitely understand like what your target is and try to go from a niche and then try to expand from there.
Wow.
Yes.
So it sounds like a lot of.
Yeah, I'm just saying everything is out there. Everything's up for grabs. Like he said, like anyone can just take your idea and just try and expand on it and try and make it better. So you just have to keep on improving. You can't just let it. You can just make it and let it sit.
Yeah.
Right.
So it seems like a lot of work goes into this. Is DoppelU your full-time jobs, or what else do you do for a living?
No.
You need income coming in somewhere.
Right. No, it's not. I actually work for an engineering firm, and this was a side project that we began. And I mean, I'm having a lot of fun. I'm learning a lot of things here that I would not learn at work, as far as people skills and networking, marketing. This is a creative outlet for me, in a way.
Yeah, a creative outlet for me as well. I work as well, and I have a blog where we're both very interested in fashion. And this is very much so. For instance, we go to work and then we meet here, and we just into the night, like late night hours every day. Wow. And we just keep doing it consistently.
So what is the end goal for DoppelU? Where do you see it going?
Well, as I said before, initially we want feedback to see what people are interested in. And we've got a lot of different routes that we could take. But I would love to see it to where brands come on and post maybe design ideas that they want to implement in their next show, or what they want to, revolutionize the industry with or whatever. And then they could kind of see the response before they actually make everything. Yeah. So that's going to take some time though to get those types of people on board. But even just up and coming designers to come on, and we do have a lot of them on the app. Actually, they post just their even sketches of things they want to do, and then you can decide from there.
So you're getting a lot of people coming in.
Yeah, all different kinds, right? Yeah, we've got, there's designers, bloggers, brands, jewelry, people of all ages actually, and as I said before, men too. So it's just, it's really interesting mix. Don't know what to expect. That's one of the beauties of the app market though, is global. If you're in the app store, anybody can download your app. Someone can be in Antarctica. If you have internet service, you can download it. It's free, exactly. So it's not.
Yeah, for instance, we have designers that'll post their sketches, and they kind of want to know which one should I look into further, creating. And then you have men's designers. For instance, we have a suit designer on there who very awesome suits, right? And maybe they just want to tweak a detail. For instance, maybe just the pocket square, or the tie, or just a little design on the shirt, whatever. Maybe the suit remains the same. They just want to change a little tweaks are what complete outfits, especially for males. Mm-hmm. Right. That's a huge aspect for male fashion. Females a little different. You can get a lot more elaborate with it, but for guys, just to make a small little tweak is a huge deal. Right. Guys post, they post watches a lot just to see like how that affects the look of an entire outfit, and it makes a huge difference. So there's a lot of different aspects you can get into that. You can have bigger models, bigger designers that get into that. So we're trying to look at broadening the spectrum a little bit to allow all of them in. So that'd be a huge benefit for us. Mm-hmm.
You guys seem so passionate and driven. You must get your inspiration from somewhere. Where is it? Where does it come from?
A lot of actors, bloggers, musicians. I'm interested in all kinds of style. Like I found myself like over the years, I've moved from style to style. So you'll see me, I can wear a beach clothing one day and then rocker style the next day, and then straight up Italian suiting the next day, right? But I would say like overall, I guess maybe my style icon is probably, Ryan Gosling, James Dean, Marlon Brando, those kind of guys. Mm-hmm. And there's a lot of bloggers that I follow too, but definitely those guys. Very, very simple styles that kind of stand the test of time, that you could wear regardless of the era. For instance, Gosling wears stuff now that Brando wore decades ago, and it still works.
Very versatile.
So those are the kind of things I like, just staple pieces that really you can use all the time. That's kind of what I like. Yeah,
and men's fashion to me is a lot more timeless throughout the years. I think everything. Preferably, I like fashion from back in the day. Now it's a little different, but women's is so constantly changing, But with men's, though, a suit looks good all the time.
All the time.
Yeah, you can't go wrong with that. I like a lot of the icons that he mentioned as well. But as far as inspiration, like in business and all that, there's a host of people that we follow and aspire to emulate. Because you can you don't need to reinvent the wheel.
Uh-huh.
You know, it's always good to try to see what others have done and use their knowledge. So we read lots of books, lots of podcasts.
Keep
I mean,
updated everywhere.
with everything, just because you want to. The way these people think is really, you have to try to think that same way. It's all a mental game. Because if you suffer some setbacks, and if you can't overcome that, well, then that's it. You have to just constantly keep evolving. So, in essence, it's a self-improvement type of exercise. In a way, that's the whole business scheme. I really love that.
Keeps on going. You can't
yeah,
stop.
it's not only in business, it's in life though. You feel yourself just changing. Everything that your mentality is changing. Yeah, it's good.
Wow. And you mentioned some, but do you have any specific style icons you admire?
I do like I like James Dean's looks, just that black jacket. You know, that's classic. Gosling is good as well. I like Brad Pitt. I really like when he just lets the hair go and all
Classy
that.
guy.
Yeah, I like that. Sometimes I don't shave for a long time, and even though I can't fully connect all of my points, but I think it's a genetic thing. I like how he can look very different, and even in the movies that he does. Yeah.
And on a personal and professional level, what brands do you connect with?
That's a good question.
That's a good question.
So, like I said, my style goes all over the place, right? So it's kind of just basically whatever brand makes that style of clothing, right? But some kind of encompass a lot of different things. I mean, for me, it's not so much about price. Quality matters, but the look and the fit matters the most to me. So whether it is H&M or ASOS versus Armani or Tom Ford, I think for suiting, I would prefer Tom Ford. You know, if I could afford it. I mean, beachwear, I love Oliver Brown. I mean, rocket clothing, I love simple pieces from like ASOS and H&M.
I've gotten a few suits from ASOS.
Yeah,
then fitted. Oh my gosh,
really great,
wow.
really great. Shirts. He wears a lot of Thomas Pink, which is great. Charles Tyler, which is another English brand for men's shirts. And I think my biggest thing is jackets. Like I can wear jackets anytime. People make fun of me for wearing jackets year round, but I still love it. I think it's a great stable piece. You can just add much more to an outfit with it. This right here, I think this is a Michael Kors jacket.
Okay.
I have a leather jacket from Top Man that I love. I love pea coats in the winter. All kinds of different stuff. So all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I mean, my style has changed throughout the years as well, and I like to. I'm not all about the name brands either. I like, I like J. Crew, clean looks. H&M is great. For the price, you really can't beat that store in my opinion. The men's section is really growing, and they're always, trendy. I do like designer items as well, but as he mentioned, Tom Ford, that's a bit pricey at the moment. For suit jackets, I do like Boss. Very, very nice. I have a couple friends, as he mentioned, that are on our app, and I bought suits from them. And they're bespoke suits, fully tailored, fully customized. And they're a small up-and-coming brand, and I would much rather shop with them and support them than some of the bigger players. These are people that I care about, and I like what they're doing. So it just depends on also what type of looks I'm trying to buy. For beachwear, for example, I love Oakley.
Yeah.
They do that. They do that so well. Hurley, things like that. So it just depends on what you're shopping for.
I go for the quality.
Yeah, the quality is good. I mean, I love Burberry. Oh my gosh, I love Burberry. Maybe it's because I'm dating a British girl, but no, their quality is amazing, and I love the English look. That's probably my favorite type of look. I mean, Italians are a bit flashy, and then French is different as well.
Yeah.
But the English look is very clean. And
it is.
Their coats, I love their coats, but you can't wear them that much in Florida. Yeah. So it just depends on where you live. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah. And also, for instance, David Beckham, who's a partner with H&M now, a lot of his clothing is very, English inspired because of English.
Yeah.
And the clothing looks great. The clothing looks great, and it's a really great price and very decent quality, and it's just really good pieces, like stable pieces, nothing too flashy, and it's good for everyone to wear. Like I think there's a lot of good stuff you can find from any brand. It's just about finding something that suits you.
Right.
Exactly. So, what tips would you give to up-and-coming entrepreneurs?
Well, just like he said, getting the feedback is the most important thing you could possibly do. That's how you prove a concept, right? So let's say, for instance, everyone wants to open a restaurant, right? It's great. A lot of people are very good at cooking. But how do you prove that, right? So you can't just go out and just get a loan and open up a restaurant. You know, you want to test the idea first. So in order to do that, you can go out and get unsolicited feedback from people you don't know. You can give them food. They'll probably think it's great because you're getting free food. All right. But now what do? You invite 10 or 15 of your friends and you charge them $10 or $20 per plate, and you say, okay, now try this food. And now all of a sudden you give them something where they have to pay for it. They're going to give you much better feedback because now that's their money and their time that's being put towards it, as opposed to getting a free meal.
Yep.
So you get much better feedback on that, and that's essentially what you have to do. In our case, we have a free app. It's kind of difficult to do that. You can't just, charge like that because they can just go download in the App Store. But when you're trying to prove a concept where you're going to charge money for it, it's essential that you kind of get into that mindset and that environment where you're going to have to do that to people.
Yeah.
You know?
You gotta get that feedback.
Yeah,
somehow.
exactly.
Right, and you want to make sure that it's unsolicited, as you said, and unbiased. So as I said before, if you're asking your friends, they're going to give you something, that you want to hear. And that's not really what you need, though. So you need to make sure that you're getting unbiased feedback. That's really important. Everyone has their biases. So even if you're asking, let's say you're back to the restaurant example, if you're a good chef and you want to ask random people, don't tell them that you made it, because they're not gonna lie to you. They're gonna be like, oh wow, it's so good. They want to give you something. People are inherently nice,
Of course.
typically. So if you say, oh, I work for a company that's just trying out new products, and this we have an amazing chef, we tried this, what are your thoughts? Give me an honest response, then you'll know a lot more than if you were just to ask them.
So you gotta think about how you word it.
You do. It's all of those details are important because, it's a bit of a mind game.
Wow, that's crazy. Any other tips you would give to entrepreneurs?
Yeah, I mean, just start. Everyone has ideas. I'm sure you have friends. Everyone has friends. Oh man, this is such a good idea. But then mentally, they don't think that they could even try that, or they don't know where to begin. But you know what? There's so much online, and the internet can be a bit confusing at times. There's so much out there. But just begin. Start doing something. Every day, keep a journal and write down what you're going to do today to better yourself and to start your journey in the business world.
So make a journal.
Make a journal, absolutely. Definitely keep a journal. Keep track of your thoughts, I think, and set goals, concrete goals, even some easier ones that you can do. Set goals for a year, 5 years, 10 years, and then just see what becomes of you. You have to learn how to expand your mind first. And then even just by beginning this process, you would have, expanded your mind just then.
Wow.
Yeah, and keep reading, keep studying, keep analyzing. That's the most important. You have to keep analyzing every situation. But at the same time, you can only read so much. Everyone reads, but like you said, you still have to take action. If you don't take action, you're just going to keep reading and doing stuff, and you're going to keep dreaming. That's why Disney has that thing for students, Disney dreamers and doers. It's not just Disney dreamers, it's and doers. That's the key part, it's the doing part. So you just have to do, you have to execute. There's this big thing about how failure is awesome today. It's not so much failure is awesome, it's that you took action. Even though you failed, you can still learn from it. So the idea is to analyze why you failed and figure it out. Right. So, which is what a lot of people don't do. A lot of people freak out about it. And like you said, people come with ideas, they don't want to act on it. You just have to act on it and then figure it out from that point forward.
Yeah.
Right.
I think that's important.
Do or do not, there is no try.
That's a great quote.
That's a great quote.
Going along that, do you have a favorite quote?
Yeah, I have one. There's a good one that's going around, and it stems from the fact that the people that you surround yourself with really dictate kind of who you become and what you do. They can push you in certain directions. I mean, we've all experienced that when we're younger, it depends on who you're hanging out with. But there's a good quote. It's, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So choose them wisely. But that's a bit far-fetched perhaps, but it's just true. If you think about it, who are you speaking to the most on the phone? Who are you around the most? You start to kind of feel their emotions and their thoughts. So if you surround yourself with people that are more forward-thinking and trying to do what you're trying to do, then that's really going to benefit you.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a good quote.
Okay. Anthony?
Yeah, I have tons of quotes.
Yeah.
And again, they're in my journal, which I don't have in front of me. It would be awesome if I pulled it out. But I guess a great one that I always remember is it's more just a description. It's, you take the word focus, and what does it break it down to? It's follow one course until success. And it's great if you just look at that and you focus on whatever it is. You can follow 10 different things, but if you take those 10 things and you stay on it, when you follow it all the way through, to see to the end, then it can help. Growing up, I was always one of those people who wanted to do a bunch of different things, and you start it and then you stop, and then you start another thing and you stop, you start another thing and you stop. The goal is to start one and just go and see it to the end, whether it succeeds or it fails. The bottom line is to go until the end.
Write it out.
And so for everything you do, you apply it to every situation, whatever it is you want to learn, even if it's just a hobby. And you just keep going, and you never know what will happen with it. And that's the goal. That really is the goal.
Right, and a good way of actually seeing everything through is to invest some money into it, whatever it is you're doing. Because once you have some skin in the game, doesn't matter how much, you're more inclined to try it again, or just to keep going farther.
So invest your time and money
a bit of money too. Yeah, I mean, I think that it does help, because then you start thinking, well, I've paid, okay, whatever it is. Let's say it's a hobby, or you want to try dance classes, or you want to start a business even. Even just making a website is going to take a little bit of time and money. Yeah. And by doing that, you kind of invest yourself a bit more into it.
Okay.
So,
I mean, that wraps up the questions. Do you guys have any other additional info to add?
Download DoppelU for iOS. It's great. It's free. And I hope people get something great out of it, and they get to pick their style, and it helps them in their daily lives. I mean, that's really what we want to do. We want to improve their daily lives and make it something good for them. There's a lot of things we can do with it, but at the end of the day, it's about the actual individual that's using it, and if they're getting the feedback that they need to pick their outfit so they can go out and feel better about themselves. I mean, that's the bottom line.
Right, but also people are also helping others choose as well. Yeah. So it's just a big community. We're trying to make a really positive community here.
Brings everyone together.
Everyone together, exactly. That has any fashion inclination. And definitely please leave us feedback in any way, email or app store feedback. Yeah, that's the only way to keep improving, because in your mind things might sound great, but when you put it out there, you have a different response. So that's really important. Yeah, please let us know how we're doing.
Okay. Well, Night Style Talks. We've had Nenad and Anthony from DoppelU. Thanks so much, you guys.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next time.